The Ottawa Senators have a hidden gem as a recent call-up has shocked the NHL with his play as of late. We're going to talk about how big of an impact that he's going to have on the Ottawa Senators going into the second half of the season, and will he remain up or will they send him back down? We'll break it all down for you guys coming up on this episode of Hat Trick HQ. But before we get into it, we got to say that 93% of you guys watching these videos aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you're not subscribed already, make sure you're down below and stay up to date on everything Sens and NHL related. We got you guys covered. So with that said, Darius, let's just jump right into it. I know Senators fans already know who we're talking about. We're talking about Leevi Merilainen. I mean, this guy came up, and I think it was this past weekend, blew everybody's minds. He's 3-0-0 in his last 3 games with just 2 goals against in 3 games, posting 2 shutouts and a .975 save percentage. I mean, this guy has just been eating the right kind of cornflakes in the morning because he is on absolute fire. He's on fire right now and is proving to be a brick wall for this Ottawa Senators team. And not just as of late, I mean, this whole season, when they've needed him, he has been reliable. In 7 starts, he has 5 wins, 2 shutouts, both coming over these past 3 games, and a .925 save percentage to boot. So he has proven to be a great goaltender here and a great call-up at a time when they have needed this extra help. And he also is a beauty off the ice. I mean, this is what he had to say post-game after starting back-to-back, winning both games, having a shutout. He said, "This is my job. I have to do this. I'm just happy to be here." I mean, he just seems like, a hockey guy's type of guy. And Darius, I mean, when you have such a chill guy like this in your lineup and is performing the way he is, you got to be really excited as an Ottawa Senators fan.
He just seems like an absolute beauty from the quotes and the work that he's putting in. And this is not a journeyman either, like you alluded to, right? Like, this is not a 28-year-old who came out of nowhere, maybe an Andrew Hammond type of goaltender, right? He's young. He was born in 2002. He's only going to be 23 years old this year. So they've found a bit of a hidden gem here where, yes, maybe he'll be up and down for a little while because obviously they shored up their goaltending help this offseason. We'll get into that as well with obviously Allmark. But, they got this guy waiting in the weeds now, and obviously he's put together some good performances. And the Sens are rolling now. It's not just that he's hot. It's in conjunction with the team. The team is playing really well because I was on record, coming into this season saying that the Ottawa Senators were going to find out that goaltending wasn't the only problem. But it seems like, when you fix the goaltending, the defense also starts to play better with some confidence. I'm a true believer that the entire energy and the confidence of your team flows through your goaltender, right? So if you have confidence in your goaltender, the team is going to respond in that way. They're going to play better. And that's exactly what we're seeing in Ottawa right now. The stats are impressive. I love his mindset. Obviously the quote, just a beauty. And he's a young player. They can really enjoy this for a couple more years and see him blossom into potentially a starting goaltender. Because again, small sample size, but even it being a small sample size, it's good.
Yeah, I mean, we really haven't seen this in a long time in the NHL where a young goaltender comes up and posts 2 shutouts in 3 games. This is like unheard of type of stuff. I mean, Sens fans have been lucky because they had the Hamburglar come up and do just about the same type of thing, and now we're seeing it again with Merilainen, and it's just great to see these guys transition up to the NHL to when they have that shot, they're going to do everything they can to try to stay up here, and this is what he's done. He started in back-to-back games, posted some crazy numbers, and it's just great to see the Senators rolling again. I love this team. I've always wanted them to be successful. Shout out to my grandfather. He's a huge Senators fan, and I just love seeing this team play so successful. But it's not just Merilainen who is carrying the goaltending here in Ottawa. I mean, the team leads the league right now with 7 shutouts on the year, just edging out the Winnipeg Jets, who have 6. And of course, we're talking about Linus Ullmark. You alluded to it earlier. This guy is proven to maybe be the better of the Swayman Ullmark duo. I would go out and say 23 games. He has 12 wins, 3 shutouts, a .915 save percentage. I mean, Darius, what's in the water in Ottawa with the goaltending right now?
It's pretty crazy. They're getting some great goaltending. And I love what you said there, about the better of the 2 in Boston. We'll see when Swayman gets an entire training camp who's actually the better of the 2. We'll wait for that next year. But right now it's looking like Allmark, right? This was a great move for the Ottawa Senators. And if it wasn't for Logan Stanley, Maybe the Winnipeg Jets are leading the league in shutouts, but for the time being, it's the Ottawa Senators. And it's cliche to say, but if you told me that last year that the Ottawa Senators at this point in time were going to lead the league in shutouts with 7, I would call you crazy, right? There's just no way you would have thought that because of the situation with the goaltending the last couple of years and how much of a detriment it's been to the team. So it's been fantastic. Getting Allmark, again, early in the season, it wasn't looking great, but as time has progressed on, the team is playing better. He's obviously doing his thing. We know he's a great goaltender. He always really has been in the league when he's playing in front of pretty good teams. So they're continuing to do their thing. They're rolling. Allmark's rolling. And if you sneak into the playoffs, this is a team. I'm going to say it now. 1 point out of the playoffs right now. They're in the mix. They can definitely still make the playoffs. I mean, they can maybe get a divisional playoff spot at this point. The East is a little weak. The Atlantic's not looking as strong as everyone thought it was going to be. If they squeak into the playoffs with goaltending like that, a lot is possible.
Yeah, I'm going to go on record right now and say this is my dark horse to win the Stanley Cup this year. Is it too early?
Wow.
I don't know. But I'm putting it out there because I think this team is absolutely rolling. Their young guys are getting into the primes of their career right now. We're seeing some crazy stuff out of Tkachuk. We're seeing some crazy stuff out of Timmy Stu. And Drake Batherson, I mean, this guy has been an absolute stud for this team for years, and he gets so underappreciated, and I hate it because he's just such a good goal scorer. He's a great player in this league, and I think he's very, very undervalued in this league. And if we just look at the current stats for this team and the projected stats for the rest of the season, it's looking like Timmy Stu is about to get 82 points, a point per game, which would be great to see for him. And like I said, Drake Batherson, man, this guy's on fire right now. 14 goals, projected to have 27 by the end of the season. Very, very underrated player. And Brady Tkachuk, we know he likes to mix things up and be one of those physical presences, maybe like a Brad Marchand, a bigger Brad Marchand is like I'd like to classify him as, but they got him projected here at 72 points. I mean, Darius, it's looking pretty good for Ottawa. I mean, looking at these numbers.
100%. I mean, there's a couple of things that stand out about this list. And again, these are just projections, but this is kind of where the season's going. And obviously, Tim Stützle, we know what he can do. He's scored 90 points in this league before. So him getting a point a game is no real surprise, but obviously you'd like to see it. But the real thing that stands out to me, a couple things, again, you have 3 players over 70 points. That's good. That's a recipe for success, right? You want to see that on any given team. Claude Giroux still doing his thing at his age with this team, right? He's really still continuing to shine and be a leader for this group. If he finishes with 54 points, I think that's a win in my book again. And, you know, you're getting some depth scoring too. Adam Gaudette, if he ends up finishing with somewhere in the 35 to 40 point range, I think that's a win again, right? So you're getting some depth scoring. Your top guys are all going to be hovering around 80 points. That's a recipe for success when the defense is playing better as a result of your goaltending playing better. I think it all flows through the goaltender, and everyone is playing their game. They are hot right now. They're just right outside the playoffs looking in. If they keep this up, you know, they could find themselves in a divisional playoff spot, even in a wild card, because I assume some of the teams that are hovering around there, maybe Boston, for an example, Columbus, they could end up falling off, right? I don't really see that with the Senators. I think they're getting hot and they're going to stay hot.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, like you said earlier, when you have full faith in your goaltending each night, it makes it a lot easier to go out there and play hockey when it's not like, you know, you're fighting, and then, you know, one bad turnover leads to a goal and you're down 1-0. You know, when you have a guy who, on a breakaway, can make that stop, I mean, it makes just a world of difference to this team. And they don't just have one guy there, they have 2 now with Merilainen. This is going to be huge for the future of this team. He's so young, and if we could see a 210, another Ullmark 2 tandem light up here with Merilainen, I think this team could shock a lot of people, and I'm really excited for the future of the Ottawa Senators. It's going to be fun to watch the rest of this season. I hope they get into the playoffs, because this is a team that if Montreal isn't in there, I'm going to be cheering for. I'm going to go out on record and say they're my dark horse, like I said. But want to hear your guys' thoughts down below, Sens fans. What do you think about Merilainen's play? I'm sure you guys are very excited about it. What do you think about some of these projected numbers? Do you think some are going to be higher, some are going to be lower? Let us know down below in the comment section. But if you want to subscribe to the channel, we're on the road for 10,000 subscribers. We're almost there. So if you want to stay up to date on the latest Sens NHL news, make sure you're down below and hit that subscribe button. But as always, I've been your host, KC, alongside my co-host, Darius. Keep your stick on the ice.